how do you feel about fashion being that directly political? I mean,
I think it's great. I think it's great. I think fashion has always been very political. I think that in the 60s, the fashion in Vogue was geared towards a certain kind of politic. The world wasn't what it is today. I think that politics were represented in a very elegant, esoteric way in Vogue, as with the late Mrs. Jacqueline Kennedy and her official portraits in her inaugural dress. By the way, who inspired all black women to go to church. Let me tell you, the women in Baltimore were inspired. Everyone in my family was inspired by the late Jackie Kennedy. The pillbox hat, the gloves, everything. So I think that it's very important that, you know, the political climate was very much inspired by Vogue when Mrs. Freeland was there. Just think, Vogue, Woodstock. Vogue had about 8 color pages of Woodstock. Well, they couldn't show the nude people, but they showed the people swimming in the lake with no clothes on. But they showed them, you know, neck up or whatever. But those things were political then, and I think it's always been. I think that it's very important to establish the moment of First Ladies, and I think that I was very proud to do the first Michelle Obama cover with Connie Goodman, and that was very political. That was the highest achievement in my Vogue life, and I was so very proud of that. I really, I must say, when Anna gave me that assignment, I knew that she really thought a lot of me, and I was given that assignment, and I had to keep it a secret. We had meetings about it, and then I came to Washington and interviewed her when she was in the Hey Adams Hotel, and then Tawny Goodman came down and did the cover shoot. She was the style editor for the cover shoot. So that's a great thing to have in my resume of knowledge, of memories.
Do you think that Mrs. Obama, changed what we expect from a first lady style-wise?
I think she changed style-wise because she was her own. She did what she loved doing, and she did the mix greatly. She mixed high-low. She would do black and white. She mixed an Elia belt with something from the Banana Republic. Is that the name of it yet? J. Crew. And then she would.
It's such an informed audience.
And then she would do things like, when she went to see the Queen of England, she had Tom Ford, a brilliant designer, American, make her an extraordinarily state gown in white, Grecian white, and she had the above-the-length gloves and leather made for her. And that is where she did the best thing. But she also created a very important thing as First Lady by creating her own advocacies, you know, for the veterans' families, childhood obesity, eating right, natural gardens, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that she will go down in history as one of the great First Ladies, like Eleanor Roosevelt.
And I know that many years back, you also worked with Melania Trump.
Yes.
When she was...
That was then.
Before she was married. I mean,
are you having a good time? I'm sorry, Robert, ask your question.
You may already have answered my question. But I mean, her style then was clearly very Rococo, 1980s. I mean, and it's changed significantly. I mean, do you see any indication that she might be willing or interested in using fashion in a similar kind of communicative, representational way that...
I think that Melania is very selective and very well chosen. She chooses her looks carefully, and there's obviously a great deal of preparation for the looks. I think that she is indeed a very, very confident person, and she chooses carefully for the clothes that look great on her. And it is always her choice. When I helped her with her wedding trousseau, it was an assignment from Vogue, and I flew to Paris with Melania, not on the Trump jet. We went on commercial. And she went to all the great couture houses. And the great thing about Melania is her manners. She was very impressive. The couture houses were very impressed that she was not the arrogant Mrs. Trump hunting down a wedding dress. And then we went to a fabulous dinner at Valentino's Chateau. And it was fabulous. And I was sitting next to Melania, and she was so impeccable in her manners, in the way she spoke to people. And she was so charming. So she eventually picked a John Galliano Dior dress, you know. Allegedly, reportedly, it was $230,000 then. It was a beautiful dress. She stood for 8 hours one day to be fitted, and she didn't faint. And it was a very wonderful experience.